Relations between Russia and Georgia have long been strained, but the situation appeared to be improving this year when Russia lifted a 7-year-old ban on Georgian wine and reopened its borders to Georgian mineral water.
Then that progress hit a stumbling block. Russia blamed an epidemic spreading into the south of the country on a U.S.-funded laboratory in Georgia and said it would block imports of Georgian fruits and vegetables. But as our Moscow correspondent Jim Brooke told me, politics, not science, may be behind the new trade fight. Take a look. Jim, what are Russia's concerns about this lab in Georgia?
Alex, they're really invented concerns. The head of consumer protection of Russia has said this lab infected southern Russia with African swine flu. Now, he's repeated this accusation several times over the last 10 weeks. It seems to be a way to put the Georgians on guard, on the defensive, and a way the Russians are using to block the imports of Georgian fruits and vegetables, which are very important for the Georgian economy.
The Georgians showed VOA around their new laboratory complex, the Richard G. Lugar Center for Public Health Research. Owned by Georgia's National Center for Disease Control, the lab tracks polio, measles, and other infectious diseases. Director Amiran Gamkrelidze rejects the accusations coming from Moscow.
We have no secrets here, nothing is here. We are not doing nothing connected with biological weapons.
And this allegation of biological weapons production at this U.S.-funded lab seems to be a bit ironic. So what do you make of that?
The Russians use these sort of non-traditional ways of blocking trade with their neighbors as an economic lever against their neighbors. Just in the last 2 weeks, we've seen the same head of consumer protection blocking products from Ukraine, chocolates, etc., blocking products from Belarus, notably milk. These are really trade wars they're using to pressure the Ukrainians to stay away from Western Europe and to join a commercial union with Russia.
Many Western nations have expressed concerns about Russia and its compliance or potential non-compliance with the Biological Weapons Convention. So how does that back and forth play into this?
First of all, in terms of Syria, the Russians are strongly downplaying any involvement in the preparation of chemicals that the Syrians may have used. What we know is that during the Soviet phase in the late 1980s, the Soviets helped the Syrians create their chemical weapons armaments, munitions. Many of the chemicals are simply bought wholesale from the West, but the expertise is Soviet and the design of the weapon systems is very much Soviet.
You know, another aspect of your report was talking about the upcoming Georgian election. What kind of role do we think we'll see a new president play in the trade relationship between Russia and Georgia?
Well, Alex, once again, the problems of the lab and the accusations against Georgia is really to put the Georgians on the defensive and to remind them who is their powerful big neighbor. And the message is, elect someone who will be nice to Russia and you'll have normal trade relations. If you elect another Mr. Saakashvili, you may end up with a war on your hands, or at least a trade war and economic stagnation and backwardness.
And what do you expect we'll see transpire in the future? Despite this setback, will the trade relationship improve?
Alex, yes, I believe that this is simply a warning shot to Georgian public opinion. This is what we could do if, parallel, out of sight of the cameras, the Russians have sent inspection teams to check out Georgian farms and vegetable and fruit processing centers. So we really think that it's underfoot the restoration of the exports of fruits and vegetables north to Russia. And once again, Russia has a population about 20 times the size of Georgia. It's a huge market for Georgia and very important for Georgians.
And again, that was VOA correspondent and Moscow bureau chief Jim Brooke.